Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is gonna be a little bit of a more chill intro. My health is flaring up just a little bit, So I've got my tea, I've started drinking tea again. I had quit for a little bit when my mouth started acting up to begin with, but I am back to drinking tea, which I'm very excited about. But man, today it's just kind of flared up, and when I flare up, it makes me want to start a new project. So we're gonna start a new project. So, welcome to my brand new series, Shop My Shelves. This is a spin-off of The Purge. The Purge is definitely something that I'm going to be continuing as long as I can. It will most likely turn into a hiatus situation where it'll only be every couple of months is kind of the idea, because I hopefully won't have enough books to actually do a purge with. So the idea is that this series will hopefully take over for The Purge. It is a similar idea, but it is definitely with more new books that I want to read currently, but may have not just picked up because I just haven't. I'm always going to have a lot of books. That is something I have come to recognize. I am always going to have a lot of books that I have not read. I will probably never get to the point where I just have one singular book that I haven't read yet. I probably won't even get to a point where there's only 10 that I haven't read yet. That would be ideal, but I just don't think that's realistic. I really just don't think it's realistic. So this little new project, Shop My Shelves, is all about reading my new books that I've gotten this year. I'm definitely going to try to focus on books from 2025 in this series. However, there's really no rules for this. Also, I just realized a fan is on, so you're probably hearing that. So let me go turn that off. Okay, I feel like that is a lot better. Hopefully it wasn't actually too loud in the intro, but it happens. I was making lunch and I was making something that had an oil smell to it, so it's just driving me nuts. So I turned the vent fan on over the stovetop, and you guys know that those are super, super loud. So anyway, like I said, the idea of Shop the Shelves is to read books from the most recent books that I have, within the past couple of months, to a year, while we leave the Purge for older books. And specifically right now, obviously we're doing Fairy Loot Purge, which I am still working on. I'm still working on it. We're also doing Aardvark Purges. That is going to start probably at the end of this year. And then I got to finish up Book of the Month. I'm very close to finishing Book of the Month, thank goodness. It's still probably another 2 to 3 videos for that one, but we're getting there. My Book of the Month pile is significantly smaller than it was. Purge is still going to exist. These are just going to be 2 separate series. This one's just a spin-off for newer books. Hopefully, these books are going to be a lot more positive. The Purge videos, just because of what they are, generally are significantly less positive. It's just because what it is. It's try to get rid of books that I'm not interested in anymore. Hopefully this series is new 5 stars, new favorites. It hopefully will de-influence me quite a bit from just buying books that I think I'm going to like, but for no good reason. So there's a couple of things that I would like to get to that are oh, should I have actually bought this? Am I actually interested in this? Is this something I'm actually going to like? Or was it a fad at the time of buying it? And I think that's really important to understand as you're buying these books. So I just bought the book Conform. I would love if we pulled Romantasy or Fantasy. Ooh, dystopian is a good one. I didn't put dystopian down. I'll explain all of this in a minute. We'll leave dystopian off. I'll add that later. But I just bought Conform, and it's a book I had never heard of, but it said the word dystopian in it. So I bought it. But why? Was I really going to be interested in that? Could I have just gotten that from my library and read some of it? And if I really, really liked it, then I could have gone out and bought a copy of it. That's kind of what I want to work on. I really, really want this channel to be about making conscious decisions. And we're actually starting the series after I just filmed my book haul for this year. And that definitely was yeah, we really need to really knock down the number of books that we're buying. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here. We're doing it with The Purge. We're doing it with reading all my book box books. And now we're also doing it with Shop My Shelves. So I'm very excited. So the idea is that I have this handy dandy little TBR carton thing. It's so cute. I don't remember which one I got it from. It's one of the 3, Owlcrate, Illumicrate, or Fairy Loot. I don't know which one it came from. So I have filled this with, see, it's more than it looks, okay? It's more than it looks, but we will be adding as I think of things. But it can be general genres, it can be subgenres, it can be tropes, it can be anything. So I think an example of here, I have Romantasy. I also have literally just one that says adult. It can be any adult book on my shelf. One just says young adult. But then you have more specific ones that are Instagram feed, where I go through my Instagram feed and I find books that I own. And these are only books that I own. And then another one is enemies to lovers. And it can be anything that is enemies to lovers. Adult, young adult, fantasy, romance, horror. I mean, it can be anything. So I put just a lot of options in here. There are some that I'm hoping for more than others. I do want Romantasy because that would fit conform. Fantasy would work. That would fit conform. I would love for conform to fit in what we're reading. But Romantasy, I'm in the mood to read Romantasy, and I think it's because I've been reading a lot of horror. I don't want to pick horror. I do not want to pick horror. I think, honestly, if I pick horror, I'll show you guys, but I'm going to put it back because I am working on a horror purge. So I think horror for this instance is just not working for me right now because it is October. This is a video I'm working on for November. It is October 17th. I'm reading a ton of horror books. I don't want to read any more horror books. I'm doing that for the purge. So horror and probably thriller mystery, all three of those might go back. We'll see about thriller mystery. Mystery I might keep because that can also be cozy mysteries. So that is different. So the idea is that you're going to know what we're reading before I am because this is going to say Shop My Shelves blank edition. And I don't know what it is yet. You guys are going to know before I pull it. So you're going to see my reaction to what we pick. But every episode is going to be one of these slips of paper. And then it's going to go back in. It's not going to get removed. It's going straight back into here. And I can choose like later if I pick another one. Like if episode 2 is the exact same thing, I can pick a new one. I'm trying to be very nice to myself. If I pick up a book and I don't want to read it, this is not like The Purge. This is, I can put it down and pick something else. Why it's called Shop My Shelves is it is only owned physical TBR, and you will be coming with me to the shelves to pick a book because I have no thoughts in my head besides conform that I want to read. So we're hoping fantasy, romantasy right now. That's really what I want to read. I think romance can work, but I don't know. And I don't know how many books I'm going to read for this video. It's kind of just going to go on until I feel like I don't want to go anymore. So let's pick our first genre. We, like I said, really want romantasy or fantasy. I will even take enemies to lovers. I think that could work. I think conform also has a love triangle, and I think I have a love triangle in here. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay, so first choice. You know what? I wouldn't mind mystery. I really want to read, what is it? Shady Hollow. I really want to read that one. So I would also take cozy as well. Cozy or mystery. Okay. I also used bigger sheets of paper. If you guys watched my horror purge, I used the tiniest slips of paper and it's such a pain in the butt. So yeah, that's so annoying. But anyway, okay. So we are going to be reading Romantasy. Okay. We're gonna be reading Conform. Conform is technically like dystopian sci-fi, but it has fantasy listed at the top, okay? So we're counting that as romantasy, and it's reading like romantasy. So this is going back in the jar. I can't believe I got what I wanted. Okay. What if we had pulled horror? I would have been so mad. I guess I could have put it back, but I would have been really mad. For our very first episode of Shop the Shelves, we are going to be reading Romantasy. Does conform really fit? Let me double check because now I'm like eating my words and I'm like, uh-oh, does conform actually count as romantasy? Because how normally my rules work is I count something as a genre if it's like the first 3 listed on Goodreads. This says fantasy, romance, dystopia, then romantasy. I would count that because the first 2 are fantasy and romance. We're gonna count that. We're gonna count conform. Conform. I literally just got this, I think yesterday. I am really excited. This is why I'm so excited about this series because I just I want to read this so badly right now, and it's for a video. It doesn't feel like work reading this though. So this is following our main character who is living in a very Handmaid's Tale world. Think definitely Handmaid's Tale, which is why I'm a little bit worried because I don't want this to be like a her falling in love with her captor situation. But I feel like that's more dark romance, and it doesn't say dark romance anywhere. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. It's taking place in the far future, and there's art destruction, there's book destruction, and these people who have defects are seen as lesser than and are given lesser statuses based on who they are. And they are entered into these breeding programs where they're chosen for elite men to then them having children. And it's so Handmaid's Tale. So I'm so excited. It's something that I either could love or really hate, but I think based on what this is, I'm going to really, really love this. So I'm looking for something that feels very poster girl, that feels very Divergent, that feels very Handmaid's Tale, at least the TV series. I never read the actual book. So I think I'm going to get this. I think I'm going to get that out of this. I need to add dystopian to my TBR jar, but I don't think I have that many dystopian books besides this one. So anyway, very first book is Conform. I'm really sad I couldn't take you to the actual shelves to look at things, but we can talk about a couple of the romantasies that I'm interested in before we get into this one. So some options like over here for future romantasy, I mean, I can see Anathema, This Ravenous Fate, that I think is romantasy. Enchantra, that would be a sequel. I have a slip of paper that is sequels, so there could be an episode where I only read sequels. Then I think Accomplice to the Villain kind of counts. I don't think anything else up there would, but I've got some like down here. Most of these are just fantasy picks and some thrillers. So I have quite a few. I also have, I think I know what we might pick next. I think it might be the Sparrow book, Shield of Sparrows. I definitely probably, and Windweaver. Oh, I got quite a few. There's a couple in the other room, but we're gonna start with Conform. I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing if I really enjoy any of these romantasy books. Oh, For Whom the Bell Tolls, I just bought. That's definitely a fantasy romance. Quicksilver. I bought that last year. It's still generally new. I feel like Quicksilver would almost fit better in a purge, but I don't plan to do any genre purges for a little while. I want to finish Fairy Loot first. So I might try and fit Quicksilver in because everyone's talking about me reading Quicksilver. So I really just need to get it over with. So anyway, we're going to go read Conform. I will let you know at about 50% what I'm thinking about it. Not the best look. I also have my white noise machine on, but I think I'm going to finish this in the next hour or so. So I need to give a quick update before I finish Conform. And I don't know how I feel about this book. This is like not the greatest book, but it's very bingeable. So I would say, oh gosh, like I'm trying to think of how to review this book because it's really not great. It's kind of like how I feel about Silver Elite. Silver Elite is a very similarly written book. Weirdly enough, I actually do think Silver Elite is better than this one. If you were to hand me Conform and hand me Silver Elite, I read both of them, and then you asked me, one of them is AI, which one is it? I would actually say Conform is more AI feeling than Silver Elite was, because this is the most formulaic thing I have ever read in my entire life. I feel like somebody put into Chat GPT love triangle and The Handmaid's Tale, and this is the story that popped out, because it's just, there is no real story. I feel like the whole story is reliant completely on the romances. Like, the story is the romance, and I'm having such a hard time keeping track of certain things because they weren't explained very well. So this world is not built at all. I needed another like 100 pages just for world building at the beginning because of how different everything is. And I don't know if this author is just like reliant on having you think it's just a general dystopian world, but because of like the system in place in this world, in this book, you have to know some of the background, because I'm getting lost when it comes to when they talk about the contract, stuff like that. So this is following our main character, Emmeline, whatever. And she is a minor defect, and the world is like built into different stages. Like Ilum are the highest of the high level people. Then there's the elite. Then there's the minor defects, and then there's the major defects. And so our main character is a minor defect. She has heterochromia, which they consider a minor defect. Elites supposedly have no defects in their genetic code or visual defects. And so this is where it starts getting confusing. The point of a minor defect, if you're a male, you're like workforce people. If you're female, you're also workforce, but you're put into like this procreation program. This is where the Handmaid's Tale aspect comes from. And so they have some elites mate. Ugh, I hate the term they use the term mate for stuff. It's not good, and it's constant. It is really grating on my nerves. You like, as a minor defect, if you get accepted into the procreation program, you're given to like an elite, and then they decide if they want to do a contract with you, and there's like allotted times. There's like 3 different types of contracts. There's extended contracts, and it's just like none of this was really explained very well. And then the war before this world was created was barely brought up. So we don't know anything, honestly, about this world and like how we really got to this point, which I find really strange. So then we have the love triangle, which, like I said, is to me the point of this book. I honestly think the author came up with the romances first and then built a world around the romances, which kind of sucks because the romances are not very good. This was very insta-love on both instances. There are some complicated feelings here because one of our love interests is a rebel and one of our love interests is like the people that you should be fighting against. So I don't really know who we're supposed to be rooting for because I feel like the rebel could turn out to be bad and be doing things, or obviously the guy you're supposed to be against, he is doing bad things. So I do think I know what direction it's going to take because it would be wild if it was the other direction. But the direction that I'm thinking it's going, I really, really hope it's not. I really hope it's not. I have my own hopes for what is happening because I do think one of the romances was ultra like insta-lovey, and to me that in my brain that means that is not endgame. But I think where this book is heading, that is endgame. So I'm not the happiest about that. The other romance, which was less insta-love and it had more work to it, I feel is like with the bad guy. And so I don't necessarily like him, but I do think there's more chemistry between the two of those. And so I have a hope of something that's happening, but I don't think there's any way that could be the thing. So, but I feel like if it's the other thing, then it's way too obvious. And if it's revealed like it's a surprise, I'll be really mad. Like, I'll be really, really mad. Because it's been hinted at since like page 50, I feel like. Probably not that early. But it's been like hinted at by everybody in this book, or very early. So if that is really the case, I'm gonna be really disappointed. So I'm kind of hoping it goes completely out into left field and does the weird thing that I'm hoping it does. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just know that one of the romances, the guy is bad, but there's more work that's been put into it. And then there's the other romance, which I feel like there's so lacking chemistry because it was just like, oh, here's your romantic interest, and they're immediately into each other for no reason, and it's only been like a week, and it's like, oh, I am really curious where this is going. I have about 120 pages left. Yeah, I think it's 401 pages. I'm at 289 or chapter 29. So I will give you my final update when I finish this, because I don't know what it's trying to do, but I do know this is going to be a series. So of course I'm starting another series, but this is what I wanted to read. This is what I get for reading this. We have successfully finished our first book, Conform, brand new release. I don't know what to rate this. I absolutely do not know what to rate this. This was such a weird read because the end of this book ended up being really good, but still not really what I expected. And I feel like I have more questions than I did when I started the book. Like, I feel like absolutely nothing was answered in this. Nothing. Not a single thing. I don't know identities of people still. I don't know what the romance is supposed to be. It kind of went in the direction that I was hoping for, but kind of then backtracked. So I have no idea where we stand on the romance. I don't think our author knows where she stands on the romance. I don't know. This was a weird book. I think, oh man, it's at least a 3, but I binged this. Like, I kept wanting to pick this up. So I feel like I've at least got to give it 3.5? 3.5? I don't know. Let's see. Who has blurbed this? Sarah J. Maas blurbed this. Compulsively readable, I agree with that, and vividly written. Don't know about that. It kept me awake long past my bedtime. Veronica Roth. Veronica Roth would be the perfect blurb for this because it does remind me a little bit of Poster Girl because it's like post-dystopian. Irresistible romantic debut with a love triangle that will have you picking sides, then changing sides, then changing sides again. I agree with that. I definitely was, like, my focus was definitely split while I was reading this. You know what? 3.75. 3.75. This was almost a 4. If it had given me a couple of more answers at the end, I would have given it a 4 just for entertainment purposes. Don't read this if you want something fantastic. Like, this is not a good world building story. The romances are mediocre at best, but it is definitely very bingeable. So 3.75 for bingeability. Actual story is probably like a 2, but I rate on enjoyment, not how good the book is. So that's the first one done. I don't know where to go from here. Let's go to the shelves and pick something. So this is a brand new book. I feel like I should pick something a little bit older. I've also been awake since 3:30. It's now like 9. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I yet again could not sleep last night. So we're gonna pick something that I think I might enjoy, or at least I can again binge like I did with Conform. Okay, I'm all the way down here, but I want to show you the top shelf. So that's how this is gonna work. So this is a lot of my Romantasy. Ooh, Quicksilver. So you have Quicksilver, the Book of Azrael, Daughter of No Worlds. I don't really want to read this. I don't know if I'm gonna like this. The Windweaver, Vesseless, Black Witch. I feel like those are all really, really good options. I also have some newer ones down here. But again, I said I wasn't sure about reading newer ones. So I also have Bitten, Shield of Sparrows, and For Whom the Bell Tolls. So these two are newer. Oh, and we have House of Blight in the corner. I don't know if you can see that. You can kind of see it. I think that's everything that I have over here, and I think that's plenty to choose from, actually. So I feel like Bitten would probably be easy to read. It's young adult romantasy. Whom the Bell Tolls sounds really cool. Oh, but those are new, and I don't really want to read Shield of Sparrows. Do I just bite the bullet and read Quicksilver? Like, is that a good idea? Let me put you back up here. Do we just read Quicksilver with all of everyone freaking out about Brimstone right now? Because I think that's coming out soon. Why is it so big? I think we just read Quicksilver. I think this is one we're going to pull. Because I keep hearing about Kingfisher. And I have been told by a couple of people that I'm going to hate this book. So I don't know. I feel like it's a toss-up because sometimes I absolutely love trash romantasy because I don't think anyone would have thought I would have liked Conform. And I enjoyed it for the most part. So I think we're going to try this to just kind of see if I like it or not. Because, I mean, it's whatever at this point. It's whatever. If I don't like it, I don't like it. If I like it, I like it. I'm so meh right now after reading. I just finished Misery yesterday. And if you guys watched that, you know how I felt about it. So I'm kind of just like, I just don't care. I just don't care right now. So we're going to go attempt Quicksilver. I have been told by some I will hate it. I've been told by some I will love it. So we'll see. I definitely will probably be skipping a lot of the sex scenes because I've been told that they are very cringe. But if I can skip them, I'm fine. I skipped the sex scene that was in Conform. I did end up going with Quicksilver, and I am already 162 pages into this book, and I'm having the best time. I am having absolutely the best time. There's no spicy scenes yet, which I'm happy with. I was a little bit nervous it would like start off that way immediately. There's obviously been some talk of that, but it really doesn't bother me. It's not bothering me too much. I love Kingfisher as a character so far. I've been told I'm not going to like him. There's like one or two things he says every once in a while, but I love that there's no even hint of liking each other yet. Like there's like sexual tension, which is fine. That is acceptable. Being in love immediately, that's normally what I have a problem with. So I'm excited that that is not the case. The taunting is so good. The taunting is so good. In the scene that just happened, it's so good. It's so good where I don't want to like ruin it because it was a surprise and it was really funny. It's not like a spoiler, but it was just a really good moment that I'm glad that I didn't know about. So yeah, I'm having a great time. Absolutely fantastic time. Still don't really know what this book is about. Like, I don't know where it's going, like what we're supposed to be doing really, but it is following our main character who has been, she's in like her own world, but she gets transferred over to like the Fae world and she learns about the different realms. And I think the point is like opening up the realms, and it's mostly seems like it's trying her to protect her family and stuff, but that has kind of taken a backseat to what is going on in the Fae world. So I don't know what the end game of this book is, but I'm willing to keep reading to find out because I very much am enjoying this. I feel like the writing style of this, I feel like I'm gonna get roasted for this because some people are not gonna agree. The writing style of this very much reminds me of the writing style of Sarah J Maas's books, not Crescent City. Crescent City is very different, but Throne of Glass and ACOTAR series have a very smooth writing style that's just very addictive. This is very similar in style. Like, it is just like, I started reading it and I was like, this could have been a Sarah J Maas book. This could have been Sarah J Maas to me. Not enough world building. I do wish I understood the world a little bit more. That's like my biggest critique right now, is that I'm not 100% sure what's happening, but I don't think our main character really knows what's happening either. So I will accept it for now. I understand enough that I'm not getting lost in the story, but there's just certain things that I was like, ooh, I wish I knew the background of this. Ooh, I wish I knew the background of that. But maybe it'll get revealed later because we are getting little tidbits as it goes on. So I am appreciating that, but I do wish I had a little bit more at the beginning. Don't know how much more I'll update you. I feel like if my feelings change, I'll update, but I feel like with like fantasy and romance, there's not like a ton to update because it's like either you like it or you don't. So we'll see. Maybe the back half of the book, like when I get to like page 300 or something, about 400 pages maybe, I'll let you guys know how I'm doing in the book and what I'm thinking about it. But otherwise, I'm just gonna try to read through Quicksilver and have a good time. So I may or may not have finished this entire book. I really thought I was gonna come on here and give another update, but that's not what happened. I think I finished this book in like 2 days. Like 2 days, 609 pages, and I think I finished it 2 days. I'm giving it a 5-star. It may be, I think it's my second favorite book of the year. Who had that on their bingo card? I feel like if there was like a Kim betting app, the odds of this one would have been like plus 1,500 because the odds of me liking this book, I feel like, were so low. There's a reason I bought this and then did not read it, but oh my god, this is so good. This is so good. I 100% get the hype for this one. I love Kingfisher. He is amazing. I would put him up there with Reese and Rowan. I loved it. 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 Loved it. Like I said, the only thing that kind of was like, I wish there's a little bit more of is understanding the universe kind of, but again, I think we're kind of only given a small scope because we're in Saris's perspective and she only knows so much. So I do think the ending would have been more impactful if we understood more about the group of people, because I don't want to say, because it's kind of like actually kind of a spoiler about this group of people, but the ending, if you've read this, you know how it ends. I wanted to know more about what Saris was about to potentially be in charge of. So I wanted to know about that group of people more, because when I read that, I was like, like, what is their hierarchy? What are there? Who is in this grouping of people? So I was very curious what that really kind of meant. I feel like it could have had more impact if I understood more the ramifications of potentially what that meant. So that was like my only biggest issue with this book, which really wasn't even an issue. Yeah. I don't know. This is another 5-star. It's October 31st right now when I finished it yesterday, October 30th. I have 3 or 4 5-stars for October. That's crazy. Yeah, I have nothing really negative to say about this. I did skip the sex scenes, but they weren't anywhere near as bad as like A Court of Silver Flames. Like, I was expecting raunch through the entire book. I really was. I was expecting awful, terrible, very raunchy scenes through the whole book, kind of like A Court of Silver Flames. And honestly, there was only 2, maybe 3 that were like, I mean, they were long. They were long and they were very descriptive. The smut was smut. However, it really wasn't that much. It really wasn't that bad. There was a lot more plot than I thought there was going to be. There was a heavy plot, actually. And I wasn't I loved the characters. I loved all the characters. I also wasn't expecting I was worried about like, they talk sexually to each other, like quipping at each other, but it's not cringy. Like, I normally get really cringed out by that kind of stuff, and that's what makes me quit Romantasy a lot of times, is when the main characters are already kind of like making sexual innuendos at each other. But in this, it felt kind of like enemies to lovers. Like, this is closer to enemies to lovers than I feel like I've read in a while, when it says it's enemies to lovers and it's really not. Which, again, this isn't actually enemies to lovers, but it had that vibe. And also, I think what really got me, there was such a good jealousy plot line. I think she could have taken it even a little bit further with that. But yeah, I loved the jealousy plotline. I've seen some complaints. So one of the other complaints that I was worried about when reading this, and I think it was a complete non-issue, was the lack of consent purposes. So like, there's a situation created where our main character has to do anything that Kingfisher says for reasons. And a lot of people talked about how she can't give consent for things, but I never got that in this book. Like, it was never used in a sexual way or romantic way or anything like that. So I had zero problem with it. Like, that wasn't even broached as an issue. Like, that, not even close. Not even close. I think it was like joked about at one point, but no. Like, there was never a point that you were like ever thinking he was going to use it for those means. So I didn't have any amount of an issue for that. And I normally would have a major problem with that. So I don't know what people are complaining about with that. I don't think that was a problem. Otherwise, yeah, no, this is great. Plot, characters, pretty much everything. And you guys, this is actually really funny. I showed you guys a clip of Walmart, and I went to Walmart specifically because it was right next to the doctor's appointment I had this morning, and I had to run and go grab something for Lucas right after my appointment. And I was like, oh yeah, they have the white edition of Quicksilver, and I actually really like the white edition because I wasn't a fan of the black edition. I'm really sad that they're not continuing with this. I didn't like originally, but after reading it, I'm like, yeah, this is a fantastic cover. So I'm really sad they're not going to continue with those covers. However, I got there, and you guys saw me pick up the white cover. If you look at that clip and you look at the white cover, it is incredibly off-center. Every single copy there was, I think there was only 2, but it was so off-center I would have had to refold the whole thing. And once you have to refold a dust jacket, it never looks right afterwards. There's creases and all types of stuff. So I was not going to do that. So I ended up picking up this one. And honestly, I think I might like this one better. I don't know. I was looking at them side by side and I was like, they're both actually really pretty. And I did not like these covers. I did not like them at all. But now that I've read the book and now that I'm like obsessed with the book, I don't care. I don't care. I kind of like it now. I do think it is way prettier in person than it is in pictures, like 100% way prettier in person. But yeah, so I ended up getting this edition of it. I'm really, really excited. I probably will still get the white edition, to be honest. I do love the artwork that's in here, especially Kingfisher. I think Kingfisher looks pretty much exactly like what I pictured. He's beautiful. He's beautiful. He's definitely my new book boyfriend obsession. I'm not gonna lie. I love him. I love him. Anyway, so yeah, I ended up getting this edition of it so that it will match Brimstone, which I will be going out and buying the second it comes out because I need to know what's happening in the next book. So we need to move on to picking our next book, and we are sitting right in front of one of my Romantasy shelves. So let me move and show you what is on here. My hair is stuck in this stupid thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm kind of looking for something a little different. So we've already read some sci-fi dystopian romantasy, which after reading it again, it kind of feels more sci-fi than anything. And then we just read definite fantasy romance. I mean, that was romantasy to a T. Very, very fantasy. So I'm trying to think of what would be a good next book, because again, I'm trying to read things different. Both of those were adult books, so we could go for a young adult book, which I think, okay, let's see. I have not read A House of Beating Wings, so that is an option, but I think, again, that falls in line more with what Quicksilver is. So we have that. I know a lot of people like this one. I haven't heard great things about the later books, so that's nerve-wracking. Skyward doesn't count. We have Trial of the Sun Queen. Again, I think this is more similar to Quicksilver. This one has trials in it. I would like to read something with trials. Surprise release finds her in the hands of the Sun King. Laura is thrust into the spotlight as she competes against 9 other tributes for the role of queen. If she wins his heart, she'll earn her freedom and finally get her revenge. So that sounds good. There wasn't much hint at romance, which is interesting. So I'm curious what the romance really is going to be there. Next, I think, is Lovely Romantasy. I feel like this was released before Romantasy was like a popular thing to call stuff. So it could just be listed as fantasy. But if there's like a romance in it, I feel like it's still Romantasy. I don't know. Story of Revenge. I feel like that's somewhat similar to Quicksilver. We have Dawn of Onyx. Yeah, this is gonna be like, this almost seems like it's bordering on dark romantasy. So I don't know if I'm in the mood for that either. So far the Trials seems the most interesting. We have Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm waiting for something to like really hit me. So I'm definitely not gonna continue. I have already read Guild. I'm not gonna continue in this series yet. I feel like this is one I wanna save for December so we can read in our reading sequels readathon that we're doing. And then I've read both of these, Touch of Darkness and Phantasma. So I'm definitely staying away from sequels so that I can read them in December with the readathon. Let's see, where else can I move to? I guess we'll go back up there. So Trial of the Sun Queen right now is the winner from this shelf. Okay, I think you guys can see everything. So this is a brand new book, The Ordeals, but I feel like this one's like brand new, kind of like Conform. So I kind of want to read a little bit of an older one. Oh, this is Trials too. An illusionist competes in a series of deadly trials for a spot at an elite magical college. So I'm gonna pull The Ordeals. Book of Azrael, I think, again, I'm looking more for Trials. I really don't want to read Daughter of No Worlds. The Wind Weaver, Fall of Wrath and Ruin. Is that romantasy or just fantasy? Oh, this is definitely romantasy. I mean, the back literally says, she lives by her intuition, he feeds on her pleasure. I don't know about that. So no, we'll leave that one. This is also a new one, Vesselless. I've heard mixed reviews of this now ever since I bought it, of course. Enemies to lovers romance following the heir to a fantasy kingdom and the seductive spirit sent to claim her soul. When she enters a deadly tournament to end her betrothal, she's determined to win without succumbing to the addictive spirit magic she channels, or taking a life in the dual ring. Okay, this sounds really good too. We'll pull this one as well. Okay, so we have Vesselless, and that is, what did I just say? Reluctant heir goes to a tournament, is teamed up with a person who is half ghost and all charm, who is her enemy. That person was killed by that person's father 10 years ago, so there's that. He's able to phase between his human and spirit forms, but stuck in another realm, hunting wretched souls. Ooh, he's hunting her. I'm thinking The Ordeals sounds a little better, though. I kind of want to read this one. Illusionist and Deadly Trial sounds really good, going into a college. I think this one sounds the least interesting out of the two, or out of the three. Yeah, we're gonna stick to either The Ordeals or Vesselless. No, we're gonna do Vesselless. We're gonna do Vesselless. I love how I said we're going to do Vesselless and I held up The Ordeals. So I'm going to put The Ordeals back. That does not mean we're not reading it for this video. Because maybe, I mean, there's always a chance I'm not going to like the book that we pick or I'm not in the mood for it. So we're going to try Vesselless, but The Ordeals is very close second if for some reason I don't end up vibing with this, we will probably go back to the ordeals. So let's go try to read Vessellus. I actually ended up getting to about 62 pages, I think is where I was at. I don't like this book. I don't like this book. I have so many problems with this book. Basically, how I feel about this book is how I thought I was going to feel about Quicksilver. So we have two different main characters, and that's also kind of an issue that I'm having. I very rarely love a romantasy, or at least in the first book, having two points of view. I generally like in a first book having one point of view, getting to know that main character really, really well, and just seeing her perspective on the romance and stuff. So me already having the guy as the second point of view and already getting like his thoughts and stuff, for me it doesn't work a lot of times. It worked in Defy the Night. There are plenty of examples of it working. Unfortunately for me in this one, I just found his chapters so incredibly boring. So we have him, Dagon. So Dagon is we're going to see if I can explain this book to you first, because I'm already struggling with how to explain this. So our main character, Nazara, she is an heir to the kingdom of Zar. We're going to talk about that in a second. And she is just kind of like supposedly this badass, and she's just angry at everything. Like her characterization is, I'm angry. Like that is her whole personality, is I'm angry at everything. And the point of this is that she wants to take over to abolish like a bunch of unfair rules, but she is supposedly getting betrothed. We still haven't really gotten to know what's happening with that yet, 60 something pages in. Really nothing has happened at the beginning of this. But then we have our second main character, which is Dagon, and he is the previous king of Zar. And he was killed by Nazara's father, who has taken over as king, and there's just a lot of that type of stuff going on before the book started. So a lot of political intrigue overhaul before the book started. And so he is now like this half spirit, half person who is chained to this being that we know absolutely nothing about. And he has been given a quest, basically to go harvest the soul of Nazara. So basically, in order for him to live and have his freedom, he has to take her out. Like he has to take her soul. And it's such an interesting premise. And like in the background, there's supposedly some sort of trials that she's going to be taking part in, and we've kind of talked about them, but they are so confusing. Everything about this book is really confusing, and I'm really confused in general because I was looking up reviews about this. I was like, okay, why are there other people who are struggling with this? Like, let's talk about why we're struggling with this. There are plenty of negative reviews on Goodreads, a lot of stuff that I also have an issue with, but on YouTube and like Instagram and TikTok, because this is a book talk book, I did not know that, it is primarily overwhelmingly positive. And I'm listening to some of these reviews and I'm just like, there's no critical looking into this book at all. Like there is no anyone really saying like, hey, like this was kind of weird in this world building. This was weird. No, it's everyone going, oh my God, Shadow Daddy. And I'm like, I need like an actual review. Like somebody please give me a real review of this book that's not on Goodreads. Because Goodreads, there is a lot of good reviews on the more, not negative, but like neutral to negative side. Because that's what I was looking for. There were plenty of great reviews of this one. I was looking for something a little bit more critical that looked into the world more. Yeah, it was very specific what people were talking about. And that's not what I wanted to talk about. I did not want to talk about Shadow Daddy. I wanted to talk about the world and the magic system. So something that was common among the negative reviews, and pretty much is how I feel about it, is there is no world building. There is no world building. The world is absolutely confusing. The magic system makes absolutely no sense. And there's no real point to this book. Like there really isn't. So we have this map in the front, and it is so entirely unoriginal. It's just unoriginal. So in the map, we have the main, I guess, continent is Valzon, which I don't even know if I heard before now, but we have the kingdoms of Zar, Zo, and Zem. And the main cities are Zar City, Zo City, and Zem City. Yeah. And like the gates are called the Zar Gate, the Zo Gate, and the Zem Gate because there's like a neutral ground. There's like an area of neutral ground in the center, which I do think is actually kind of interesting. But like there is nothing original about the naming system in this. And it's immediately off-putting and incredibly confusing when suddenly they're switching between names and like they don't make it obvious that these groups are really like against each other because our main girl is from Zo. if I get this wrong, I'm so sorry, is from Zoe, but her father was like a general for Czar and has taken over Czar. But we've not been given any type of information of what that means for Zoe. Like, who is in charge of Zoe? Like, was that an issue with Zoe versus Czar? And then there's like randomly people from Zem thrown in throughout the rest of the book. And you're kind of sitting there like, what is this? Like, what is this world? So we were not told why this person took over. We were not told the politics of any of the areas. We were not told what it means to be in these different places or these different nationalities. Then we were told that there are vessels that hold spirits and you like attach them to yourselves. And again, we were not explained what this magic system is. So our main character has one on her and she doesn't want it, but is being forced upon her by her dad as like a defense system. So there is like a shield that the spirit creates, but the spirit, it's like, I don't know. So they talk about how if the spirit is missing, like if it goes off somewhere, then the person who has the attachment like can't talk to the spirit, and the spirit doesn't necessarily have like a shield around the person if they disappear. So why would they ever disappear? Because like there's sections in this where the spirit is like zipping in and out of the shield, but it's kind of confusing because you can talk, I guess you can talk out loud to the spirit when they're outside the shield. If they're inside the shield, you can talk in their minds. But it's just like, it seems messy. It seems messy because sometimes the spirit will be running around and it seems like they're talking in their minds to each other, but they just told me that you couldn't do that. So I am highly confused about how this spirit system works and like, what is the spirit that you're drawing in? Who do you choose to add to your, because it's like, this spirit is like responsible for your well-being and it's just like random seeming spirits. Like we're not told why these specific spirits are chosen and how they're chosen and why a spirit would want to bond to a human because they're kind of trapped with this human. And then they like briefly brought up this idea that a spirit can possess the wearer, but like, when does that happen? Why does that happen? None of that was explained. Then this dueling system is what pops up. And this is even more confusing in general. So the king of Zar, the new king of Zar, has named our main character Nazara as the heir or whatever, heiress. And so she's going to be taking over, but she has to be like betrothed. So we're still like coming up with who her betrothed is. But she is going to be entering this competition. It's a deadly competition to be able to basically say, no, I don't want to be betrothed to be queen. And supposedly the kingdom will come together and they grant a boon to whoever wins. But the fact that the king is like making her compete, like he's like all for her competing in this deadly competition where it's most people are dying when they go through this, makes absolutely no sense. Like, this is your heir to your kingdom. Like, you would want to protect this person, and I don't buy that this king, who is apparently super smart and managed to do this whole coup, hasn't figured out that if his daughter wins, her boon is going to be something he's not gonna like, that he's not gonna want to give her. And maybe he just assumes they just won't give it to her. But like, I don't understand why he wants her to compete. Like, I do not understand. I don't get it. It's not really explained why he thinks this is a good idea. Like, I know he has another daughter, but it does not seem like he is remotely interested in speaking to this other daughter whatsoever, and she doesn't look like him. Like, it's made a point that the other daughter looks like the mom, who is Zoe, and our main character looks Czar, which is like the dad. And so I do not understand why she is competing in this. Like, she's being allowed to. Like, I can see her sneaking around, but her dad is actively training her to do this competition thing. So weird. And like, they have just keep showing her that she's super unqualified to go to like this next round. Like, she's super qualified to be in like the lower rounds. Like, she's beaten everybody. But apparently there's like a giant hike between level 5 and level 6. And level 6 is what this big tournament's going to be. So it's just like confusing. Like, nothing is explained in this world. And I'm only 60 pages in and all of that has happened with zero explanation as to why anything is actually happening. And so I'm just tired. I just like don't care. I don't. And oh yeah, and then Dagon has already like seen our main character girly and is already like into her as a spirit. Like, he saw her in the bathtub and is like, yeah, she's hot. She's hot. I like her. There's something about her essence that is like making my essence feel a certain way. I just don't have the time for this. I don't have the time for this. And it's a slog. Every time I pick it up, I'm just like, I don't want to be reading this. Like, I actively don't want to be reading this. Unfortunately, this was not it. This was not it. So we're going to move on and pick something else. I think what we're going to do this time is put up an Instagram poll, because I am trying to use Instagram a lot more. I do think it's easier to do polls and put out information and put out stories. I think it is way easier to do it on Instagram than it is on YouTube. YouTube oftentimes will hide posts and stories, and it's really, really frustrating. So I am trying to use Instagram more. So if you haven't followed my Instagram yet, please go follow my Instagram. There will be polls and announcements, and like I literally announced the readathon on there a little bit more than I did even on YouTube, because again, YouTube posts go missing. So, but I'm trying to use it more. I'm not really great at social media, which is funny that I have a YouTube channel. I just find YouTube way easier than Instagram. I don't know what it is. That being said, I originally was gonna pick the ordeals, but I think what we're gonna do, I think we're gonna go more, not traditional, but like, I just really heard some great things about this, but I've also heard some negative reviews. So I know there's at least like both camps. So the ordeals is still really, really new. So I just don't know anything about that one. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put the Book of Azrael. We're going to put that one on there. We're going to put the Wind Weaver. I've had this one for a little while, but I'm still really interested in this one. Then I think we're going to put Shield of Sparrows. I do kind of have my fingers crossed that this one might not win. I don't know. But like Devney Perry is an author that a lot of people have read. And then I thought I had it in here, but I don't. I think the last one, yeah, it's in my other room. I'm going to put Anathema. And I'm kind of hoping Anathema wins, because I do think I have a high likelihood of really enjoying that one. I've heard really good things about it, that it is very plot heavy, and I definitely love that about a book. Again, that's why I like Quicksilver. Quicksilver was very plot heavy. So I think these are going to be our 4 options. I think I can like any of them, and I also think they're all on Kindle Unlimited, so I can read them on Kindle at night, because I've been enjoying reading at night in the dark a lot lately. That voting will probably go on until tomorrow. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break and switch to reading. Well, I guess it's funny because I'm reading a Romantasy for my other vlog right now. I'm going to switch to reading Voidwalker for reading all of my August books, because I am trying to catch up with that too. So we are reading Voidwalker in that other video, and I think that's what I'm going to focus on for now until that poll is up. The poll is at 18 hours, which has given me a lot of time to actually work on some other stuff for other videos, because I am currently filming 3 videos at the same time. Actually 4. No, it's 4. Well, 3 actively, 1 passively. 1 I've been in the middle of since May. The Fairy Loot Purge I've been in the middle of since May. But I'm currently filming this video, which is the Shop My Shelves video. I am currently filming reading my August books, which I am on book 2 of 4. And then I'm also filming The Ghostwriter, which is coming out in 2 days on Wednesday, which that should be easy. That's not a big deal. And then I am in the middle, like I said, of filming the Fairy Loot video, and I think that's it. But it's a lot. Like I am doing a lot, and I'm actually literally about to film my wrap up so that I'm trying to be at a point where I have stuff filmed and scheduled 2 weeks before. So I am trying to really schedule things out. My wrap-ups are going to start looking a little bit differently, just because I may not be able to show everything in a wrap-up, which I don't like. That's like my biggest problem with scheduling ahead. And because I do wrap-ups and I love wrap-ups, it's definitely one of those things that is frustrating with scheduling ahead. My dog has decided to show up. Let's see. Hi, this is him. Hello. He wants to go on the bed. He's kind of mad about me being in here right now because he was asleep on the floor in the other room. So, ooh, you smell. Ooh, I might have to give him a bath. Okay, let me put him on the bed in here. This is like our spare bed. I've talked about it before. This is our spare bedroom, but he loves the bed in here because it's like this hard memory foam. So he just like kind of floofs out on it. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to film probably the wrap up next after I get this out of the way. But like I was saying and got distracted, I had coffee like 5 minutes ago. I had my 1 coffee of the week that I do. Oh, he's scratching. Hi, you're so cute. I'm all over the place because I don't drink caffeine. And so whenever I have a coffee, it's like, I'll crash in about 30 minutes though. Like I'm probably gonna have some tea in about 30 minutes and try to calm down a little bit. But The poll, we had what? Anathema, Shield of Sparrows, The Windweaver, and Book of Azrael. And I really thought Anathema was gonna win. I wanted Anathema to win. But I think we have a clear winner. It's 18 hours. There's still a couple hours left. So I mean, this could change, but I'm thinking we're at 50% of the votes right now are with Shield of Sparrows. So I think we are going to be reading Shield of Sparrows. Okay. I'm nervous about this one. I think this is the one I'm least likely to enjoy out of the 4 options, but it is the one that I've heard really great things about. Long ago, the gods unleashed monsters upon the 5 kingdoms of Kalandra to remind us that humans are insignificant, that we must pray to the gods for mercy throughout our fragile, fleeting lives. I didn't need a deity to remind me I was powerless. Being a princess has never been more than a performance. 23 years of empty titles and hollow traditions. My sister revels in the spectacle, basking in the attention and flawlessly playing her part. I was never asked to be a part of the charade. Until the day an infamous monster hunter sailed to our shores, the day a prince walked into my father's throne room and ruined my life. The day I married a stranger, signed a magical treaty in blood, and set off across the continent to the most treacherous kingdom of all the realm. That was the day I learned that not all myths are make-believe, that lies and legends are often the same, and that the only way to kill monsters we fear are to become one. I'm interested. I'm not the biggest fan of like forced marriage. I like fake marriage or fake dating in a romance. I don't know if I've read something with a forced marriage. So I'm a little skeptical about that. I'm a little nervous. Like, I really don't want there to be like a non-consensual sex scene like immediately. That's probably my biggest concern right now. If that is not the case, then I think I'll be fine. So I'm excited and very nervous about this one. I think it sounds like it could be really, really good. I like the monster hunting aspect of this. I think that could be really cool. We are gonna get into Shield of Sparrows unless for some reason the poll changes significantly. Like I'll tell you obviously, and we'll switch books. But for now, this is what I'm thinking we're reading, and we're gonna get into this one. So I have my new little setup little thingy. I was a little jealous about people like with these little microphones. So we're gonna see how it goes. I don't know if this is gonna be like a usual thing, but I can definitely see me using this for vlog clips, and definitely if I'm like outside or I'm in the car, I would definitely use this. So I don't think this will be like a regular kind of thing, like when I'm filming my wrap-ups, when I'm filming like new release vlogs, I'm probably not going to use this because the sound is not too bad on the iPhone. It's not horrible, and I can adjust it in like my editing software later on. So but I figured I would actually use it and try it out. We are doing front facing camera right now because again, in vlog clips, I'm not like too worried. It's mainly like introductions and outros and like whole big videos, like again, like the wrap ups, I would like to use the back camera. But for little like individual things where I'm just kind of like hanging out and telling you about it, see, I want to know that my hair looks like that. That's what I'm struggling with right now. I still have to mess around with the mirror. I'm messing around with the little sound thing, but it's kind of fun to hold. It's kind of fun to hold like this. But anyway, let's actually talk about what we're reading. I did end up getting into Shield of Sparrows. I know I got a different like dust jacket on it. This is the Illumicrate dust jacket, but it is in there. I have been using these little things because I don't really like holding hardbacks with the dust jackets. It's kind of annoying. They like slip off, and I don't like my little grimy hands on the actual hardback. So I'm having a really great time just reading with these, but I'm also mainly reading on my Kindle. Like this is on Kindle Unlimited. Great time. I am about, where did I say that I was? I think I'm like 75% into this book. Honestly, kind of having a great time. Like it's nothing like what I expected. I don't know why. I think it's like the vibes of the book. It's very woodsy, and when you open up the book, it's like this like forest kind of scene. So in my head, I was like for some reason thinking this was like a village, and it was going to be like, I don't know about Vikings, but it was going to be basically our main character like getting like stolen from her city village area by some brutes. I don't know why that's what I thought this was. I mean, it's a little bit like that, but not exactly like that. As of right now, I am very much enjoying it. I feel like they're not actually trying to hide from you like what is supposed to be happening. Like I feel like it's pretty obvious who a person is going to turn out to be. Like I feel like it's not a spoiler. I would hope at least that the author is not trying to be sneaky with it because I feel like it's not surprising at all. I've read a bunch of books that has this kind of trope in it. And again, it seems very obvious. So anyway, I'm waiting for that reveal. We still haven't gotten it yet. We just got onto the ship. So if you guys don't know what this is about, because obviously I didn't know what it was about, but it was following our main character who is the eldest daughter, but she is not like the chosen one really. So her younger sister was chosen to be the person to, I don't know exactly what she was chosen to be, but she was supposed to be the one who's going to marry this prince from this tribe across the sea, and she was going to do something really, really important. But when the emissary came, that's not what ended up happening. So obviously our main character is picked, and because obviously that is who we were following. Like we wouldn't be following her if she was just going to hang out in the castle for the next couple months waiting for the sister to do something. That's not how main characters work. That's why I always get really like I find it so funny when people complain about the chosen one trope, because it's like we wouldn't really be following a story not about the chosen one. I think that's a very interesting idea. I think that was the idea behind Sky High, the movie Sky High, where you're following the sidekicks. But again, they kind of turned out to be the chosen ones. They ended up being the ones that were like doing things. It always ends up being the chosen one because that's the interesting story. I'm really curious how that whisper is going to sound because you can never hear whispers when I'm just talking to my iPhone camera. Also, like, I want to like wave this around. It's just like, I can't do that. So anyway, so this is going to be fun when I can like tell you guys secrets, and it's going to be really fun. Oh, this is not going to be an ASMR channel. Okay. Oh, see, my camera did not like that. Didn't like me being that close. It really didn't like it. Anyway, so I'm kind of just, like I said, I was playing around with a little thing to see what it sounds like. So anyway, like I was saying, I can never complain about the chosen one because you're always going to be following the chosen one. So anyway, I'm enjoying it. We are about to go to like the other kingdom, and so I'm really curious what we're actually doing. Like I feel like we don't actually know what we're doing. So I am looking forward to knowing what is actually happening in this book. That is the update. I'm enjoying Shield of Sparrows. I believe this will be our final book for this vlog, but I am currently working on a little separate side project because I'm trying to get a little bit more into short form content to either put it on Instagram, because like I said, I'm trying to make my Instagram, kind of be a little bit more. So as I've said before, I'm gonna put my little 2 cents in here. Please go follow my Instagram because we are going to be doing polls over there, and I'm going to be having a NetGalley series. So a lot of people right now are doing these series on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts and on Instagram where I have 700 books on my unread shelves. Let's read them. And then they just pick one book, and that's what the video is, where they do like a spinner reel or a TBR jar, and then they pick the book, and then it cuts to them reviewing it, and every episode is them reviewing the book. So I'm not going to do it with my shelves because that's kind of what the purge is for, and that's what that other stuff is for. I'd rather that do long form content. But because I had that little issue with depression earlier in the year, I got super behind on my NetGalleys. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I am incredibly behind on my NetGalleys. Where did I put it? I have my little TBR jar filled with my NetGalley books. This is all of them. It's so many, except for the ones that will be in book box videos. So if I do have a NetGalley or an eARC or an ALC for one of the book box books, I did not include it obviously because that will be in those videos. We're going to start some short form content, one video per one arc. See if I can get through them. I did include 3 of my physical art. Well, 2 are physical arcs. One is a sent by the publisher released fully done book, but I'm still counting it as an arc because it was sent to me. Anyway, that's the plan. That's what I'm working on this morning, and that's kind of also the purpose of this because I think this will work really well in that type of content. So we're gonna go work on that. I'm gonna continue reading Shield of Sparrows. I really need to finish Shield of Sparrows today or tomorrow so I can edit Friday and Saturday and be done with this video because this is supposed to come out Sunday. That's what we're going to be working on, and we're also working on reading all of my August books. Yes, August. We're down 2. We got 2 left. So we're doing well. So anyway, I'm going to go watch this back and see how the sound sounds, and then we're going to work on some things. So I'm excited about that. So let's continue reading Shield of Sparrows. I am about 42% into Shield of Sparrows, and I'm loathing it. I am absolutely loathing this book. I take back every nice thing that I have said about this book so far because I am hating my time reading this book. I am so not having fun. I don't like the writing. I don't like the characters. I don't like the setting at all. I don't love that this is like a giant either travel story or sitting in one place doing absolutely nothing, having random training montages every other chapter for the whole chapter. Nothing is happening in this book. Nothing is happening in this book to the point that I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't want to read this book anymore, but I have invested so much time in it at this point, 42%, and everybody loves this book that I feel like I'm missing it. I feel like I'm missing the point. So what I did, first of all, I'm saying I hate the writing because this is, I keep coming across phrases where she's like, ooh, I hate that, blurg, oh my god, ew, and I'm just like, what is this? What is this? What really got me was the use of the blarg, like BLARG, to like show her displeasure of something. I hate it. I hate it so much. And like the characters are so boring. Our main female character is so boring. She has no idea anything that's going on in the world. It's one of those situations where people are always like, why do we follow the character who's like the chosen one and blah, blah, blah. This is the prime example of why we follow a character who's the chosen one, who knows what's going on, because this girl knows shit. She doesn't know anything that is happening right now, and it is so boring, the fact that she knows absolutely nothing. Like, I need a character who's at least somewhat aware that they have a head on their shoulders. Like, she doesn't even seem to be aware that she is alive. That is how dull and boring she is. And then, to be honest, I really liked the Guardian at first. I thought he was an interesting character. The further we get into this book, the more I despise him as a character. I really absolutely cannot stand him. He even hits her at one point, and not even in like a training montage way. It's like she tells him, yeah, I'm ready to train, and he literally slaps the shit out of her. And she's like, oh my god, you hit me. And he's like, and I'm like, oh, that's not cute. That's like that's not like you getting her while you were in the middle of sparring. That's like you messing with her and being a dickhead. And I didn't like that. That really, really struck me very poorly. So between that and the blarg, I am over it. They also have added a child to the story, and you guys know I do not like children in my story. I generally don't like any story that has children featured in it. And it suddenly seems like this is going to be a big character now. So I love that addition to it. And I feel like it's going to turn our main character into this like motherly figure kind of thing. It just feels like everyone isn't real. Like, these people don't feel like real people, these characters. So before I got sidetracked, what I decided to do, because I really want to DNF it, I don't want to read this anymore, but we are at crunch time. We are on crunch time. I am supposed to finish this vlog. Well, really tonight would have been preferable, but by tomorrow, and I have to edit the whole thing tomorrow to put it up Sunday morning. So it's not going well. It's not going well because I don't want to read this. I don't want to read this. I'm like looking at other romantasies that I may have that I can switch out, but I feel like I'm this far in, I should just finish it. This is like a perfect example of when to use the microphone because my husband is playing video games. It is Saturday night, so he is loud and the odds that you will hear him are pretty high. So I'm hoping that this actually filters it out. I definitely don't like using this for just like normal clips. I don't think I really need it. I think it's good for the car. I think it's good for something like this, and if I'm outside. Otherwise, I think I'm okay with the sound. So let's talk about the end of this vlog. Let's discuss this because we're wrapping it up. We have officially finished Shield of Sparrows. We're gonna give this 2 stars. I wonder how well that whisper will come across because I don't want to say it too loud because I'm kind of afraid, because it's got like a 4.22 with 200,000 ratings and I don't get it. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. I'm still getting used to this whole not being able to see myself while filming. I have the mirror right there. This is going to be something to get used to. So anyway, I'm giving it a 2-star. I really, really didn't like this. I didn't like this. I do think the ending was pretty good. I think the twist at the end, like the end, that was pretty crazy. Obviously, the thing that happened that I thought was going to happen did happen, and it was very anticlimactic, to be honest. That was kind of the whole reason that I was continuing to read this book, and honestly, super anticlimactic. It was like not even that good. And so I'm kind of super disappointed in this book in general. I feel like it didn't do a single thing well, or a single thing like the way that I wanted it. I also 100% do not think that her and the Guardian actually had any type of chemistry. Like zero, less than zero chemistry. I didn't understand it. When they suddenly, like, they went from like not being into each other to being super into each other, and I was not a fan of that. I was not a fan of that. Pretty much how I felt about this book is how I thought I was going to feel about Quicksilver. And that is really sad because man, I'm just so conflicted because this is the one I thought I would like. Quicksilver is the one I thought I wouldn't like. So we've kind of reversed what we thought was going to happen, which makes me even more sad because, like, what if I did love this and then I had 2 5-star Romantasy books? That's crazy. But this kind of was exactly how I normally feel about Romantasy books. I don't think the plot was particularly strong. I don't think the characters were fun at all to read about. I didn't like any of the characters. I thought they were all one-dimensional characters. They were just really, really boring, especially our main female character. She was just obnoxious to follow. I didn't like her at all. I also just wasn't a fan of the Guardian. I didn't like him. Didn't like him. I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of people really like him. I did not like him. I also just like don't care. I don't care about this story at all. There is not a single thing that I care about with this story. So unfortunately, I am giving it a 2-star, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it because, like, I just didn't like it. I didn't like anything about it. I don't think I have a single positive thing to say. Oh, and yeah, when the kid was added and I was worried that the kid was going to be like a main thing in the plot, yeah, she was. She was. Our main character became the most motherly character on the planet. I feel like half the scenes where she's trying to save people, it's to point out how good of a mom she is because it's always kids. She's always saving kids. And I don't know if that was like on purpose or like accidental because I mean, she could save some adults too, but it was definitely like her focus was children. And that kind of took me out of the story a little bit, especially with that addition of Evie as a character. Yeah, really didn't like anything until the very, very end. That one reveal was actually pretty cool, but it was still not done very well. I don't know. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I don't get it. So, 2-star, I am not going to be continuing in this series. I'm not going to do it. I put myself through this whole book. I should have DNF'd when I wanted to DNF, and I would have been a lot happier. So we are ending this vlog, unfortunately, with a 2-star. I am glad that we had that 5 stars. So anyway, let's talk about what we read in this vlog. So this is our little stack. I feel like I need to actually order it from favorite to least favorite, although I feel like it's pretty obvious. So here is our order with definitely Quicksilver as number 1, and Vessellus has to be worse because I DNF'd it. However, I am actually really curious if I would have liked Vessellus more if I just like continued it, or at least more than Shield of Sparrows, because I feel like the point of DNFing Vessellus was because I didn't think the writing was really good, and I didn't like the characters, and I didn't like the plot. Actually, you know what? Thinking of Vessellus, no, the world was really weird. I didn't like the world building. I didn't like anything about anything that was happening. So I actually do think Vessellus was worse than Shield of Sparrows. Shield of Sparrows was boring, but at least it understood what it was trying to be, while Vessellus was all over the place, and I don't think it understood what it wanted to do and what it wanted to be. So I will give it that. So anyway, let's talk about what we read. We read Conform first, and this was a solid 3-star. I think, well, what did I give it a 3 or 3.5? I think I'm gonna, whatever it was, it's a 3 now. It's a 3 now. This is like this isn't well, it's like romantasy dystopian. It's like romantic sci-fi. It doesn't exactly fit this, but it is heavy romance. Like, romance is the point of this book. There really isn't that good of a plot. The writing is not very good. This is in the same vein of Silver Elite, in my opinion. If you enjoyed Silver Elite, you should try to read Conform. Definitely check on trigger warnings because this is very Handmaid's Tale. Then we read the winner of the video, and that was Quicksilver. I am so excited. I've already pre-ordered Brimstone. I cannot wait for more Kingfisher and Carrion Swift. Oh my god. I've also gotten another person to read this book while this video has been going on. So I'm really excited to see if they end up liking it because they're not normally a romantasy reader. So I'm really curious if they're going to enjoy this. I loved it. 5-star, second, tied with second favorite of the year with Night and the Moth. Then we ended up DNFing Vessellus. We talked about it. This was just poorly written. It was poorly written, poorly plotted, poorly. The world was just bad. The world building was really, really bad, and I don't understand the hype for this one. And of course, the one we just talked about, Shield of Sparrows, going along with not understanding the hype of this one. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't think this is a good book. I don't think it was written well. My God, if the character said blarg one more time while I was reading this, oh my God, I couldn't stand that. I hated that so much. It's such goofy writing, and again, everything else was just boring. This book was a slog. It was boring. I don't have anything good to say about it. And that being said, that finishes our very first Shop the Shelves Romantasy edition. I'm really excited to continue the series because it's going to be a different type of book every single time. So if you get anything non-genre, it could be very interesting what we end up reading. So I still don't know what exactly to call this. Like, it's going to be Shop My Shelves. This one's obviously Romantasy edition, but I feel like Shop My Shelves Quest edition might be kind of weird. So I don't know. We're going to have to see about it. But the first one might be titled Romantasy, and then they might be a secret from then on. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to see how that goes. But I'm excited that we got the first one over with, a bunch of new releases or some stuff that I've been holding on to. And again, that's kind of the point of this video, is to actually read some newer releases, while everything else I do on my channel generally is older things, except for like the reading my book box books. So I'm really excited that I got through these. So with that being said, that is everything that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know down below if you've read any of these, if you're interested in reading them, what you thought about them if you have. And Rex, if you think I'll like any Romantasy based on what I liked and what I didn't like, definitely let me know down below. If you don't have anything else to say, but you want to let me know that you're here, how about, okay, the last one was Shield of Sparrows, and I think, yeah, why don't we just do a bird? Leave a bird emoji if you want to let me know that you're here but you have nothing else to say. And yeah, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe so you miss any future content. And that is everything that I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.